your request to the Brooklyn Posse.
Hello and welcome to the Fitz and Healthy podcast. I am your host, Dr. Lauren Fitz, and I am joined by my beautiful co-host, Cinthanie McAllister. What's up, girl?
Hey, girl. Hey. Hey, people. Hey.
So this is our official first episode in year 2 of the Fitz and Healthy podcast. And I just want to give a shout out to all of the freaking listeners who have supported us in this year, because it was a roller coaster ride. It was a fun roller coaster ride, but a roller coaster ride nonetheless. And we just want to say thank you to everyone. Today, we're going to talk about the art and discipline of exercise. And this is something that you guys who are avid listeners of us know that you always can expect episodes that pertain to exercise, nutrition, medical stuff, lifestyle, and then there's some extra stuff that we just like plan last minute that we surprise you with. But hey, we haven't talked about exercise in a while, and some of our best episodes have actually been about exercise, like building a booty. There's the one about exercise and why it's not the reason to lose weight. That was one of our first episodes.
It was.
We talked about HIIT on one episode, and today we're going to talk about the art and discipline of exercise. And we're going to explain what that means. But first, we want to give a shout out to an iTunes review of the week. So, Cinthanie, you picked a good one today.
Okay, so this is a really good one. So this is from B Jammin SD, and it's a 5-star review, and it says, "Mind blown." Wow, where do I begin? I'll start out by saying that my podcast cherry has officially been popped. Thanks to the incredibly intelligent Dr. Lauren and her adorable, insightful co-host, Cinthanie.
I'm shaking my head right now.
I've had an hour-plus commute for the last 17 years, and it has gotten much better in the last month thanks to these ladies and the wealth of knowledge that they provide. Like my mom has always said, the more we learn and the more we know, how much we don't know. If you want to take control of your life and get a good understanding of why things happen with your body, I highly recommend you tune in. I learned about Lauren and Fitz and Healthy through a challenge group I joined that promotes intermittent fasting and high-fat, low-carb eating style. We started this challenge right after Thanksgiving, and it will conclude in about a week. Most exciting part about this is that it has become a lifestyle, and I can't imagine how I see you fist bumping over there. Right? How I ate and lived before. My whole thought process about food has changed entirely, and everything these ladies say are making sense. I've lived it, and I'm seeing and feeling big results, not just weight loss and decreased inches, but a whole new energy level that I didn't know was possible. Now I'm gradually getting the family on board. Yes, get that family on board. Yes. Before Dr. Fitz, I had not heard of Mark Sisson, Sean Stevenson, Carly Poyak, Katie French, or Coach Tulin. I can't tell you how many times my mind was blown when listening to those podcast episodes. I'm officially addicted. I'm telling my friends and family and encouraging them to also listen and learn. I hope you do the same. This world can be changed one podcast and one person at a time, thanks to the info we learn here. Oh, and they also provide some great medicine, lots of laughter in their pretty faces. Enjoy.
Oh, I got chills, of course.
What a sweet review. We appreciate
SD, man.
We appreciate the time that it takes not only to write a review, but to write such a heartfelt review. I mean, that's a 3-paragraph review. So pouring your heart out. Thank you for that.
We received that. SD, my friend. Okay, so what made me think about the art and discipline of exercise? Do you have any idea?
Well, I think I might have an idea.
Okay, why don't you tell me? Tell me what you think.
I literally can't.
You literally can't. Well,
no, literally, I'm not. I can't.
Yeah, no,
but you know that I know that you know.
we may or may not be doing something secret, and that's all I'm saying.
We'll be able to cover that later, but just know.
For sure. But actually, it's funny, that particular thing that we can't talk about is not what provoked the thought of this.
So, really? Yeah, okay. Well, then I'm not following. I'm not picking up what you're throwing down.
So the listeners, a lot of the listeners have been following me on this journey, and most people know that I have fallen in love in 2018. And
if you are watching YouTube right now, you can see the little birds like flying around Lauren's head, and there's hearts and stars and bunnies, and Robert's rolling his eyes.
I need Robert to put some bird chirping sounds in the background. But yeah, so I most of my listeners know that I went through divorce in the early months of 2016, and now we're here in spring of 2018, and I started officially being on the market, if you will, hashtag single and dating last fall, right?
Yeah.
And you know, that's one episode that we need to do is about dating.
Okay.
Like dating, for sure. That might even be our next episode.
Okay.
Because dating as an adult is so different, because you really haven't experienced that, Cinthanie. So
I haven't experienced dating at all since 17. So
yeah. So it's a little bit different when you're an adult. And,
I believe it.
So it's not all fun and roses. I'll just say that. When you finally meet someone that is what you feel like a perfect match for you, it makes it all worth it. And this gentleman, I mean, gentleman's like an understatement. I really know that you've heard me say this. I didn't think men like him existed. I thought that they were. I
didn't either.
Right? I haven't even shared the picture. Like, you two have seen the picture of where he took me on our first date. But
yeah.
I'll just let people know. It involved a helicopter ride over LA. I mean, I felt like I was in the movies, like not even kidding, you know, and this man continues to just like, you know, blow me away with his heart and his, I mean, he's just a good man, but that's not the reason why I'm talking about exercise, the art and discipline of exercise, but he is ultimately the reason why I thought about this, because, so his name's Chris. So the listeners are just going to have to.
He has a name. Yeah, they're all like, "Ooh, juicy details."
Right? So Chris is an athlete. He actually used to play in the NBA. He played 4 seasons, and a lot of people. He's so humble about this, and it's so funny when people ask him. He's like, I used to, but you know, I mean, he used to be on the Bulls when Michael Jordan was there. He has played with greats like Michael Jordan and David Robinson. Like, awesome. I can't even imagine. And you've read the book Relentless, right?
Yeah.
So Relentless is a book, a personal development book that I recommend for anyone. I don't care if you're a coach or not. Personal development helps us all become better. And this book is person. Yes, exactly. It's by Tim Grover, and Tim Grover is he used to train athletes on like professional athletes, mostly basketball players. So in his book, he talks about Michael Jordan and he talks about Kobe Bryant and all of these athletes that are literally relentless. And what is different about them versus the average person that's just got some athletic ability, but can't go as far and be as successful as these greats, right? That we all know, whether we're basketball fans or not. So when I found out that he played on the same team as freaking Michael Jordan and David Robinson, 2 amazing leaders just in the world of basketball, I was like, what is it like? You know, just totally racking his brain. But in this process, I've gotten to see what discipline looks like on this next level, because this man, I mean, I've been disciplined for most of my adult life, but the level of discipline that he has, I mean, he's, you know, in his early 40s and he is so disciplined about.
He's like intense.
Yes. Perfect for me, right?
I mean, super, like very kind, but like you can just tell there's a level of intensity going on in his mind at all times. Like,
you have no idea. For real. I thought I was intense. I ain't got nothing on it.
Girl, you chill.
Right.
Yeah, he makes you look chill.
Yeah. So the art and discipline of exercise. So why do I say art? Because so many of us start in childhood and we do an art that has nothing to do with working out, burning calories, shaping up our midsection or building a booty or anything like that. We start with stuff that happens to be, you know, an art, right?
Recreational. Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for instance, myself, my parents put me in the dance studio when I was 3 years old. Did they have any desire to want me to help to build my booty or to have, no.
Yeah.
No, it started with practicing the art of dance. And that art turned into me learning all of these amazing things that led to the 38-year-old female that has no problem with discipline with exercise and has basically my whole entire life, exercise has been a vital part of my life without me really needing to try, right?
Yeah.
Did you have an art, or are you going to be the opposite example?
Because the opposite example.
Perfect.
I was a wild bird. No, but I was in like team sports as a little kid, like little like kiddie soccer, I did that. I did softball. I did dance. Like I did an array of things, but there was nothing that I ever like stuck with that was my thing,
Okay.
So once I got to high school, I wasn't in any sports or anything like that.
Okay.
So it wasn't until my adulthood that I fell in love with the art of moving your body, if you will, through exercise.
That's perfect because so in my head there are 3 different stereotypes that are listening, right? Mm-hmm. There are the stereotypes like Chris and myself that literally have been an athlete and been practicing the art of exercise since we were little. And Robert too. I mean, Robert, he was put into martial arts early on. I'm saying this because like I took care of him for his anesthesia for one of his knee surgeries. Just saying, is that violating HIPAA, Robert?
He's laughing.
But then there are the people that were put into sports or some sort of art that involves moving the body, right? Mm-hmm. And once they got to college, they're like they stopped doing what their art was, right? Mm-hmm. And then everything kind of unwinds from there. And then there are people like you that you may have dabbled in a little bit here or there, but you never really had an art that was your discipline. And it wasn't until later adulthood that you found that art and that discipline and it became one, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So let me ask you this. So let's address the third type of person first. Okay. What in your brain clicked that brought you from a person that you really weren't disciplined with exercise? It wasn't really part of your habits, your weekly, daily habits. Mm-hmm. Now, obviously it is. Anyone that follows you on Instagram, I mean, you're consistently showing
daily
your workouts.
I'm one of those people now that it's like, do I have to take a rest day?
I know.
But rest is important. But it is. I'm learning to rest and appreciate rest. Mm-hmm. But for me, we talked about this in one of our episode about depression, actually, is that for me, exercise became my medicine. Yeah. I was in an emotional place where it hurt more to not understand why I was happy than it hurt to physically like move my body and push it to its limits. So that's how I started to deal with my emotions. And so now it's like my daily therapy. Like if, you know how like some people are like, if I haven't gotten my coffee yet, don't talk to me. I'm like, if I haven't got my workout in yet, don't talk to me. Like it is my daily dose of like a kickstart. So
yes.
It was honestly just dealing with emotions. And then it became like a love of like moving your body and like taking that time and like investing in yourself. So for me, it came from an emotional place, honestly.
Excellent. So you obviously got emotional benefit from it. Mm-hmm. You've got your body transformed. I mean,
I lost 20 pounds and I've kept it off.
Hello. Now I'll put a little side note to that. It's not just exercise.
It's
more than just your exercise habit. You change your nutrition. And y'all have heard me say this plenty of times. You can't out exercise a bad diet.
It's true. Because there was a long time that I was exercising and nothing was changing. Yeah. I was changing mentally because I was dealing with things, but my body wasn't physically changing.
Right. Exactly. And then what are some other changes that you have benefited from since exercise has become a routine daily habit for you?
Well, like I said, like mentally, it's like that was my antidepressant. And then it became, like I said, like my daily dose of just like, like you feel ready to go after a cup of coffee. Like I said, for some people, for me, it's like my workout. It clears my head. It makes me feel better. Like my quality of life is better on the days that I move my body. And even on some days that I don't like physically go and do a workout and lift weights or do a HIIT workout. Like my husband and I did yard work the other day, and like that was my moving my body of the day. It was a rest day, but I still moved my body. So for me, it's been a benefit of, I mean, exercise has completely changed my life because it's my business now. Like it's what I'm in business with. So
Right.
it's been a huge, huge turning point for me in all aspects of my life.
So another thing that I want to point out, and this is true for all three stereotypes, or can be true for all three stereotypes, is that exercise brings a critical element to everyone's life. It's human interaction and relationships, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because yes, there are the people that literally go to the gym, put their headphones in, and don't talk to anyone, don't look at anyone. They just go to get their exercise in, and that's cool.
Yeah.
But for so many people, exercise is therapeutic because that's when people are interacting with other people. Now, there are different ways to interact, right? So I personally do a mixture. So most people know that I do at-home workouts, but that's not all I do. So I also teach my class at Equinox. I like to take classes like a yoga class, or I love to do, heck, I live just right next to the beach. So I'll go and do beach volleyball, walk my dogs. Like these are all forms of exercise that I have the ability to interact with people. And the social element of exercise is huge, right?
Yeah. Like I go to 2 classes a week typically. And I always say on my Instagram, like, I don't go to work out. I mean, that's what I'm doing, but it's my happy hour. Like that is my like girls' night out, like go just talk and just be a girl type of thing. Like that is my happy hour, is my classes that I go to.
Some people go and get drunk during happy hour. You go and exercise during your happy hour. Yes.
I get
judgment either way.
Exercise drunk.
Yeah. Oh, goodness. Maybe that needs to be the title of this podcast. Exercise drunk instead
How
of
to get workout drunk with Laurel and Cinthanie. If I had $1 for every time Robert shook his head at us, I would get paid to podcast.
Yeah, exactly. So we have the first example that I talked about, and I think that the first example, I don't believe are a majority of our listeners, but they're still worthy of being acknowledged too. Obviously, the people that literally started an art that turned into their forming their disciplines as an active adult. Yeah. Because I mean, whether it's an actual sport, a lot of people don't consider dance a sport. It's not a sport, but man, you have to be an athlete to do dance.
I think it's a sport. I would consider it a sport. I mean, if cheerleading is a sport, dance is a sport.
Amen. Thank you very much.
I'm just gonna say that.
For real. Martial arts, jujitsu, all of that kind of stuff. Like all of these are art forms that you can put your child into, and you hope that they continue all of the things that they learn from it.
Yeah.
In terms of committing to something and seeing it through, right? So these are all non-physical benefits of an art that turns into a discipline of exercise, right? So the art of starting something and seeing it through. Yeah. The discipline of committing to that and showing up every single day.
Even when it's inconvenient.
Even when it's inconvenient. Even when you're tired. Even when you have crap going on in your life.
Yeah.
You still, I mean, I can't tell you how many times I went to the dance studio that I was like, I mean, I tried to talk to my mom, but I want to stay home. And no, you've got dance today. You know, and that's so vital for a kid, because your parents say, no, essentially you committed to this.
It's structure.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. You can't not go just because you don't feel like it. Because guess what? There are lots of days that I don't feel like working or I don't feel like exercising, but I do it anyway because that's the discipline that I've created early on in my childhood. Right.
Yeah.
The psychological benefits, I don't think that you realize until later in life, Obviously, everyone has psychological benefits. And, you know, man, before I started this journey of learning the benefits of exercise, nutrition, all that stuff, post med school, post residency, I would still tell people, my patients, look, you know, exercise, you're on antidepressant A, B, and C, yet I know you're telling me that you don't ever exercise. You guys, that is something that costs nothing.
Yeah.
And it will give you more energy. But that's something that I think you take for granted when you started out with that art and discipline early on, and it's part of your life. Now, I will say that there was a short period of my life in med school that I kind of stopped exercising, not completely. And those are my days that my pictures that I like to show that I've walked through, you know, experiencing what it feels like to be overweight. But the fact is that the discipline of exercise goes so much beyond just working your muscles, keeping your weight in check, and you know, making sure your pants don't spill over.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, a majority of the people that listen to us, I feel like, are either in the category 2 or 3, that they, at some point in their life, they were introduced to some sort of art of exercise. And then they got to a point that life just happened. Right.
Yeah.
Now, I want to speak to these people and remind them that everyone is an athlete. And that's an excuse that I hear a lot of people, well, I'm not athletic. You can move. And that's what athletes do. They move their body.
And movement may be different for everybody. I mean, even if you don't have 4 working limbs, maybe your situation is different. Movement is different for everybody. So even if you don't look like an athlete or you don't move like an athlete, does not mean that you don't have abilities to move in your own way and be athletic in a way that is yours and yours only.
Such a good point. I think it was just last week that someone shared a video with me of this guy that literally he was born without lower extremities. And he was dancing and he was using his upper body at like
so cool,
better than I would say 90% of dancers that I see on Instagram, and he was killing it. And he's an athlete.
Yeah.
He doesn't have legs and he's an athlete.
Yeah.
So an athlete is someone that moves your body and to better yourself, right?
Yeah.
So to all of my adults, and of course, you know, we have men that listen to us, but let's face it, most of our listeners are ladies.
Our hey girl hays.
Yeah, exactly. So you ladies that either you used to be an athlete, you used to have your thing that you did, you know, on a regular basis, week after week, year after year, and you stopped it when you graduated high school. Or maybe you're like Cinthanie and you kind of dabbled with some stuff and, you know, it's easy for you to say, well, you know, that's just not my thing. And we're here to tell you, yes, it is.
Yeah.
Exercise is your thing and you were meant to move. And so how do we start that new discipline? When you have someone that comes to you that wants your help as a health and fitness coach, and you find out they used to be active, because that's a common thing that we hear, you know, man, I used to be
high
active.
School and
And man, I've just gained weight since college, since having babies and blah, blah, blah. I want to get back to that person, or I've never been active, so I don't know where to start. What's the first advice that you give them?
Well, I kind of ask them why, like, what is their reasoning? Because if your reason is just because you want to look better, that may not be enough reason. A lot of times we are not reason enough to stick to exercise, and that's why we give up so easily. So I always kind of want to know where their head is at, because if your head isn't in the right place to have that discipline, we need to work on your mental state first before we even like touch a weight or have you do any kind of movement.
That's such a great point. Oftentimes, if you can get them to change their mindset from the immediate to the big picture and keep that big picture in mind, that why becomes more vital to helping create that new habit.
Right. Because, for example, let's say it's a mom and she's like, oh, I just want to look like I did in high school. I'm like, okay, well, why do you want to look like you did in high school? And it's maybe because, well, I felt better at that time. Okay, well, what would feeling that way for you do now? Well, I'd be able to move more. Okay, what would that mean? I could move more with my kids. Okay, what does that mean? I could have more quality time with my kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's levels to it. It's not just I want to work out. Like, we've got to get down to the nitty gritty of like what it will do for your quality of life. Like, why will it improve you, not just on a physical level?
So true. And, I think that a mistake that people often make when they're like, okay, I'm ready to make a change and I'm ready to make this, part of my daily habits and my lifestyle, if you will. I'm ready to not just go on a diet and do a 30-day challenge. I'm ready to learn the discipline of eating healthy and exercising, right? And then they go to a program like CrossFit or Insanity or, I'm trying to think of some of the other really extreme exercise programs. And they either, one, get so sore that they can't go back to a workout for another week. And then they get discouraged and then they're like, screw it. Or they injure themselves.
Yeah.
Or even worse, mentally, they have been defeated because they're like, well, I can't do this. This is, this sucks. Oftentimes those people, I like to remind them that literally starting with simple stuff like walks.
Yes.
Not everyone has access to a pool, but man, so many people that we work with, their joints hurt even with walking because they've gained so much weight in this process that they're like, man, even walking hurts. Okay. The pool is a great low impact place to start. There's so many different programs for people that have a lot of weight to lose. There are a lot of psychological things that we have to remember, right? Just the whole idea of being in a place that other people might be looking at you. That's something that you don't want to underestimate the power of, right?
Yeah.
And that's why starting working at home. So a lot of people start working out with me on Club Fitness on the YouTube channel, right? And I love getting emails from people saying, I've lost 100 plus pounds just by dancing with you and whatnot. Some people use the Beachbody On Demand workouts at home. Like, working out at home is a great place to start for a lot of people. What are some of the programs that you like to start your beginners on that, literally haven't exercised ever, or it's been a long time?
I can't say a specific one because it's different and unique to everybody. Because let's say somebody they haven't gotten off the couch in who knows how long. Let's just start with walking. Let's just start with moving your body and like just improving your quality of life, just getting your body moving. And then we can talk about burpees and all that kind of stuff. But like, you have to, I think something that people don't give themselves grace, especially if they were previously an athlete, or if they know what their body was previously capable of. They want to get back to that right now because they're living back in the good old day. And it's like, well, let's talk about where you are now. Let's be real about where you are now, and we can get you back to where you were. That's super awesome, but maybe we can even get you better. But we have to start with being okay with where we are now and knowing that like your body can do incredible things, but you have to give it grace to get there. It's not going to happen overnight. And I think that that's why so many people quit, is they don't give themselves grace. Like I said, they're not reason enough to keep going when it gets hard. And that's why you got to get down to the nitty gritty and understand really what you're working towards. Are you really working towards losing weight? Or are you the mom that's working towards losing weight so that she can spend more time with her kids and run around and have those memories? You know what I'm saying? It's so much deeper than just, well, I used to be an athlete in high school and I need to get back to that. Like, that's great, but why don't we get to it better? Like, why go back? Why don't we move forward from where you are now?
Right. Well, and all of this has nothing to do with your body not being able to do it, right? It's what's going on upstairs in your head,
just
right?
Give yourself the grace. Your body is capable of incredible things, whether you feel like it's in a position as if it was, or maybe, like I said, your body moves different from somebody else's. That's okay. But just giving yourself grace and allowing your body to continue to work up to that process and work up to what you want to get to. You've got to give yourself grace and be okay with the process, because if you don't accept that it's going to be a process, you will just stay where you are.
I'm going to chop up a quote because I'm really good at chopping up quotes.
We do that a lot.
But I'm pretty sure it was maybe Henry Ford that said, if you say you can't, you won't. And if you say you can, you will. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it truly starts with that mental sentence of, okay, I can do this.
And that's the thing is it's not, honestly, my workouts never get easier. There's never a day where my workout is easy. Like today,
tell me about
today's workout that I did was all mental. It was all mental. I was not fighting my body, and it's like exhaustion, if you will. I was fighting like my mental exhaustion where like, you've done enough, like you can stop now, like you've done, and it's just, no, like, let's keep going. We're still breathing. We haven't collapsed yet. Like we keep going, so the workouts or moving your body, like it never gets easier. You just get mentally tougher. You just have to keep reminding yourself of, I'm listening to a book by Rachel Hollis, the Girl Wash Your Facebook. And she talks about how when things get hard, you will retreat back to your highest threshold, like your highest level. So basically, if you have you want to run 10 miles, but the most you've ever done is 2, and then you tell yourself it's okay, you're always just going to keep running those 2 miles because that's your highest threshold. That's the highest you've pushed yourself. And so that's why there's that uncomfortable part in every single workout. Like that never goes away. Working out is uncomfortable always. And if it's not, then
you're not progressing.
Maybe we need to do something else. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, and that's also the benefit of having at least one other person along the journey with you, because whether you're a kid that's put in the dance studio or on the soccer team, you have a coach. Well, you're an adult, and especially the adults that are completely new to exercise in the gym, like you go in and you sit on a few exercise machines and you're like, okay, I think this is right. And you're kind of doing it blindly without any kind of coaching. And that's why, everyone knows that we do health and fitness coaching, and it's so helpful to have, not just for that human relationship reasons, but for guidance and
totally
progress. You always want to make sure that every day you're progressing a little bit more, right?
Right. When I found a community through a coach, that was my safe place in my journey. Like that's where I knew I could go and like, I'm not going to be judged, because when you're in a gym and like you're trying to use machines and you don't really know what you're doing and it's kind of obvious, but you're also trying to not look at the person and watch them use it before, you know what I'm saying? Like that's like what would go through my head when I'd work at a gym. So I'd never get a good workout in a gym, and maybe that's just me, but I know for me, it was the community, and it was like, girl, you got this. Like, just keep going. Like, even if it's not your best, like just keep going. Like that was what was a game changer for me. And so that's what I offer to my clients, if you will, is just that community. They just like, this is your safe space to figure it out. You can figure it out here. It's safe.
Together.
I'm not going to judge you. We're doing it. Yeah. It's never like a look what I'm doing. It's a look what we're doing together type of, it's not I'm leading, you're following. It's we're going through our process together. Right.
For me, I'm one of the weird ones. I love the gym because it's been I started lifting weights when I was 16 years old. Yeah. I was one of the only teenagers at the YMCA in Waco, Texas. Shout out to the Y. But I love going to the gym. And, that was one of the things that I was, maybe distraught about when I first decided to become a coach, because I'm like, well, I don't like working out at home. And the reality is I actually like having the option to work out at home. Yeah. But I realized that I love having, even though I don't have my personal training license, I can easily come up with, just because I've been in the gym lifting weights so long, I could easily come up with my own routine very easily. I've done it most of my life. But now what I love to do is I love to get my phone on Wi-Fi, put my headphones in, and I have a personal trainer in my pocket with whatever workout I'm doing on demand. Now, do I do that workout every day? No, like I said, sometimes I teach, sometimes I like to take a yoga class. But the fact is that having someone guide you so that you're progressing, and I haven't done today's workout, but you're making me a little bit nervous about it. Cinthanie and I are both doing the same workout program. That's all I'm going to say.
You'll be fine. Like I said, I didn't die, so I don't think you will either.
Right. Well, and you know, the mental place that you have to get to make it part of your life, the most important thing is loving yourself.
Yes. Like I said, just giving yourself grace. Like, you're human. It's okay. You're going to have very human things happen to you. Trust me, when you fall flat on your face, when you're trying to do burpees or whatever. I mean, that is me. Like, I have so many human things happen to me in my workouts.
Yes.
But just giving yourself grace and just like if you can get to a place where you enjoy the process, like I think half my workouts, I just laugh at myself because I'm just like, well, I kind of am flailing, but I'm moving, like, and it's okay. Like, just if you can get to a place where you enjoy the process because you're giving yourself grace and you can laugh it off, that's all you need to do. Like, it doesn't have to be a punishment. Exercise is not a punishment. It's a blessing. Man, it's a blessing that your body is designed to move in incredible ways. So if you are treating it as a punishment because of what you ate, you're never going to be able to get to that space where you enjoy it, and that space where like you understand that like you're doing something powerful by moving your body. It's not a punishment. It's a blessing.
It's a paradigm shift that you have to make in your brain, right? It's that shift, because that's so true. So many people look at it as, well, I'm going to have to work out extra hard tomorrow to work off
the brownie I ate. Yeah. It's not I have to work out. It's I get to work out.
Thank you.
Not I have to, but I get to.
Yes. And changing that mindset of the before and after, the mindset of, man, I get to work out today. And I know it sounds Pollyanna-like, but you know, how many people don't get to do this? Like that thought process, does it go through my head every single time I exercise? No, but it does more times than not. It does go through my mind. Like, I am blessed to be able to move.
Yes. I have to remind myself during my workouts, you are able-bodied, you are willing, you need to stick it out.
Yes.
You need to stick it out.
And then the conversation that you have in your head after exercise is one of, way to go, Lauren. I'm proud of you. You killed that. That was hard. And maybe you had to take a break, but man, you started and finished it. Way to go. And that conversation, that's all learning how to love yourself. Because ultimately, when people get out of the discipline of exercise, or they haven't ever started that discipline, at the end of the day, it's they haven't learned to completely love themselves.
Yeah.
And that's, and it starts up here.
Well, and I think that's the thing too, is like people get so caught up that they will love themselves after they lose the weight, that they'll be happy with themselves.
Good point.
When they lose those 10 pounds or when they get abs. And like, the thing is, I think that it's really hard for people to understand or even think about it this way, is that like your body is going to change and evolve as long as you're on this planet. So there is never an after until you're 6 feet under. That's your after. So you are constantly progressing. And if you can commit to that constant progression and understand that it's not an if, when I will be happy. It's a fall in love with the process, fall in love with who you are every step of the process, giving yourself grace. And like, I always say that my workouts are my love language for myself. Like, that is how I give back to my body. That's how I give back to the lungs that breathe for me without me telling them. That's how I push that heart that beats for me without me asking it to. And like the blood pumping, like that is my love language for myself, is to give back to my body what it does for me daily, is by taking care of it. Like, how can we not take care of the one thing that takes care of us, So just falling in love with your process and understanding that you are always a work in progress. There isn't an after. There really isn't. Your body will always change and evolve. And as long as you are committed to that evolution of your body and what it can do, like, you're not out of time. I know so many people think that after they've had kids, like, well, it's too late. Like, I can't get that body back or that health back, or they're in their 60s or 50s or whatever and think, well, I'm it's just too far gone. No, your movement at any time in your life is for you, done by you, and it doesn't have to be as it was 20 years ago. It doesn't have to be as if your body isn't capable. Like, the movement is different for everyone, and I think if people can get out of their own way of thinking that they have to do it conventionally, they have to be able to lift weights, they have to be able to throw a basketball, whatever it may be, just commit to movement in whatever process or season of life you are in. Because it is never too late to move your body until you're 6 feet under. Then we can talk about it on the other side. But while you're here, you can move your body in the way that you are designed to.
Yes. So it is the month of May, and a lot of people that started their New Year's resolutions have let it go by the wayside because May is a busy month. It's busy for
graduation, traveling, and kids are out of school. And
yes. So I challenge everyone that listens to this to really look at their calendar and really look and see if they are committing to loving themselves and making exercise their love language too, and showing yourself love by making this a priority and making it a discipline that you actually don't regret. You don't.
It's not a punishment.
Yes,
it's not a chore. Exactly. It is a place that is like, that is my safe place. Like I said, like that is what I give back to my body every day. My body has gotten me through every bad day I've had. The least I can do is give back to it by taking care of it.
Absolutely. And of course, a lot of the people that we work with one-on-one online as a coach are listeners. So if you guys are listeners and you've been lurking, we would love for you to reach out to us. There are different ways that you can reach out to us on Instagram, on Facebook. Both Cinthanie and I are on both, and we would love to coach any or all of you. Yeah. So you guys, we end every single episode with a really important message, and it always pertains to whatever we're talking about.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, Cinthanie,
you are a good person and you deserve good things to happen to you.
Amen. So thank you guys so much for listening. We will see you next episode. Ciao.
Make sure that you find us on social media. You can find Cinthanie on Instagram and Facebook at Cinthanie. So that's CINTHANIE, and on Snapchat at Cinthanie P. And find me on social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, all at Club Fitz Fitness. Remember, that's FITZ Fitness. And on Snapchat, just at Club Fitz. I appreciate your time listening so much. If you enjoyed this episode of the Fitz and Healthy podcast, can you please go do me a favor and go subscribe at whatever platform that it is that you listen to podcasts. Leave a review. We read every single review, and we appreciate the time that you take to leave your thoughts and opinions. Now, also remember, while I am a medical doctor, the information I provide here is not intended to provide medical advice or professional diagnosis, opinion, treatment, or services to you or to any other individual. I am providing general information for educational and informational purposes only, and it is not a substitute for medical or professional care. You should not use this information in place of a visit, call, consultation, or the advice of your physician or other healthcare provider. The information I share is not intended to treat, cure, or diagnose any disease or medical condition. If you believe you have a medical emergency, just call 911 immediately or your physician. Now, enough of that medical legal jargon. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. I appreciate your time. Now, go live a Fitz and healthy life.